family. Greetings, queens and kings. If you stopping by, welcome back to my channel. Miss you guys. It's been a little over a week since last review. I have some other things, I'm going to share with you and content. A sister been busy doing some self-tapes, auditions. I'm getting my acting thing on. And if you have not seen, my story on that, please go back to the video where I share my journey into acting and a lifelong dream. So trying to stay up and not, drop out our sisters content so late, but I was busy this weekend, had a lot of things going on. So that's why I'm getting it out now, but better late than never. We gonna jump in here. Thank you again for following me. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you who have taken the time out to like, comment, and subscribe. Your sister Kathy Vet is extremely, extremely grateful. So without being, held up anymore, without any further ado, we are going to hop in here with season 15. It's rolling by. I don't know how many episodes are in this the second half of this season 6, but something tells me we don't have a whole lot left based on what's going on now. But I really, really appreciated this episode. So before we get in there, please like, comment, and continue to subscribe. Share with your friends and family. So we can really get into this sisters content. Like my sisters t-shirt? I love it. I love it. So whenever I do my sisters review, I'm gonna have my shirt on to represent our ladies, right? Okay, so now let's get in here. When the show started, we know we left off last week with Karen and Zach and Fatima at the grocery store. And this was something that I had to take a deep breath on, because I'm like, Karen, this attitude and this drama, I'm totally sick of. And she was going there. She was going there. And, Fatima was like, Zach was just so done with it. They saw what she saw with the baby, and I know that was stirring up emotions. When she saw a little boy, she figured that was probably his son. So Fatima asked her, like, is there a problem? And she said, is there a problem or whatever, or no, or something like that. And so Fatima was like, well, there tends to be problems when it's insecure women. And she like, you called me insecure? Yes, Karen, because that's exactly what you was acting like, totally insecure. So Zach had it with her, which I can't blame. And you going off like that with this little boy, he's tired, sleep, going through all this trauma. Really don't know Zach like that. But he went with him because it's probably better in the situation he came from. So he has a little peace, somebody showing him a little love. So don't disrupt that with more negativity. Think about that, Karen. So Zach made a comment, and this would really set her off. Baby, come on, let's go. Like, don't waste your time with her. Is she like, baby? Karen, how many more times did they have to tell you? You know he loves this woman. Of course, he's going to give her some type of term of endearment. This is his woman. Yeah. And it shouldn't be new to you. This is not something fake. This is not a fly-by-night. They are engaged. This is real, Karen. Like, get with the program already. It's over between you two. So she already had an attitude with that. So she was still following them. At this point, Zach is basically done. He was like, she ain't talking about nothing. He was like, what you mean I'm not talking about nothing? No, he said, she don't have nothing to say. He was like, yeah, I have something to say. And basically, he went on to take the baby to the car, and then she followed Fatima. And this is when she finally put her big drawers on. She said, Fatima told her, Karen, you are going to be a great mother. And she like I know. But she said, she said that for a reason. Because she was like, you are not going to be leaving your child with some strange man who's beating the crap out of him, right? And having him sit in his own waste all day and hungry, like many children across this country, unfortunately enough, are going through. And she explained that situation, and it hit Karen to the core and really made her think as a mother and as a woman. So yes, we went there and we took him because this is what he was experiencing. So because she made a comment, oh, he just gonna go. Yeah, I got a car seat. I don't have no car seat. And that's why she had to went in there and made that and started off with that statement. And yeah, that's why we don't have a car seat, because we wasn't prepared for that. We didn't think we had to snatch this child out. So Karen's looking like, wow, um, it really hit her, she didn't know. She said, yeah. So, that's basically the situation. And if you don't mind, we got to go and take care of this baby. So at that point, Karen was really like thrown. She didn't know what else to say. I guess that really hit her. And what was interesting enough, when she first saw them, oh, this your child? Oh, you got a DNA, it's yours. He was like, yeah, I do. And that's one thing you don't have on this baby that you carrying. DNA from Zach. Okay? DNA from Zach. You just have a negative test on, I don't want to be, I need to put this on do not disturb. Because, okay. So, yeah. So she made that comment and he was like, yeah. And I'm like, you don't even have positive DNA from Zach, Karen. So, that's something you really need to think about and get on the ball, because you don't really have any significant proof whatsoever on Zach. So I thought that was quite interesting. And then she said, well, I just want to know why my child going to fit in all this, because you already have one. And then she tried to question Zach's, I guess, ability to take care of a child. She said, have you ever seen me hurt a child? And she was like, no. Okay, well, that child is going to get the same love just like this child is getting. And this is basically when he was done with her and her insinuations, and that's when her and Fatima had that. So I just wanted to go back to that comment because I thought that was really significant what she said. And so that was that. So yeah. So once she explained that, left, went ahead and paid for her groceries. I guess Karen was done. So next we go into Maurice and Calvin. And that was really, Maurice in his comical sense, he always got to crack jokes about somebody, but, he was always, not always, he was there worrying about the situation, that he's in, because mind you, they don't know about what's about to go down with, that the guy threw out the case or whatever, and there's nothing really to hold them, and that they got Q. They don't know anything about that. So right now, they just feel like, I guess they let them go because they don't believe the fact that, he told the story and trying to take the fall for this. But, he knows deep down inside it's his fault getting involved with Q and why they go, in the situation that they're in. So he wanted to rectify that by taking the fall, but that's not the way to handle it either, because you're innocent too. Both of you are innocent, and you both have to try to find a way to get out of this. And this is just basically with proper representation and a good attorney. And basically, this is why the prosecutor is not going with this case, because at the end of the day, it really has all holes in this case, and it makes absolutely no sense. But they don't know that. So, of course, he's still stressed about that. So he doesn't want Calvin to go to sleep. Calvin, like, what you want? He like, hold me. He was like, I ain't holding you. So, they had a talk, and he said he really been thinking about his life. Why does he get involved with these men? Straight acting men, straight presenting men. And Calvin basically says it comes back to your childhood trauma with your dad. His dad being a strong, straight man, but he didn't do Maurice right. He went through a lot of trauma when it came to growing up with his dad, but he still wants to save his dad through it all. His dad had a hard life, and like any child, they want to see their, they still love their parents. They want to see their parents better. And he has that savior complex with a lot of men who appear to be straight. They show him some type of love and kindness like he wanted from his dad, but then they use and abuse him. And his father did that too. So Calvin said, that childhood trauma shit is real. And it doesn't go away because you're an adult. And it's real. And we constantly are trying to fumble our way through life, many of us, and we haven't healed or gotten the therapy and counseling for the trauma from our childhood. And Calvin shared with him that, I understand, because I'm dealing with my own level of shit with trauma. And Maurice wanted to hear from it, but Calvin didn't want to discuss it. So put in the comments, what do you think that trauma that Calvin's going through? What is it? Because we know that they were a gay couple that adopted Calvin. I really, because he went through a lot of trauma, I'm not going to say it's one of those, nice situations where a mother just couldn't handle it and gave her child up for adoption while he was a baby in the hospital because she wasn't in a place to take care of it. I think a lot went on traumatic before this couple adopted him, and he was in a good place with them. His two dads he was really happy with, but it was something that happened before the adoption. So I would really like to get that backstory on Calvin before it's all over. I want to know what happened with him. So hopefully he'll share that with Maurice in the future. Checking out my notes, so I don't forget nothing. So yeah, that was something serious. And then, at the end, before Calvin went to bed, he said, "I love you, Calvin." And it was really a pretty serious moment for Maurice and Calvin. He said, "I love you too," because at the end of the day, he knows that's probably one of the closest friends he's had is Calvin. He's always on him, but he trusts him and he loves him. And him and Sabrina are the only two friends Maurice basically has in this world. So he values both of them. That's why he's willing to give up his life and go to jail for Sabrina because of that. So I just want to say that was a little tender moment right there. Now, Fatima and Zach are coming in from the hospital, and they want to get the baby situated, fed, and in bed. And Zach goes up, to, I guess, run the bath water, give him a bath, get him prepared. And then that's when Fatima noticed. She called Zach because she noticed probably bruises, maybe scars on his back. And it was so emotional. And like I said last episode, I noticed from the work I do with children who are, go through abuse and neglect. And it's sad because there's so many children hurt like this. And, a lot of times young ones, they don't have a voice and they can't defend themselves. And this is what happens. And, it really hurt Zach because it took him back to his own trauma. And, this little boy is a great little actor. He's really going through the emotions of a child that's been abused and going through trauma, but he's still responding and saying, "No, this don't hurt," or reacts if something does hurt. And I think he's just, was really good. So kudos for the little actor who's playing Zach's son. He's doing great, even later on when he's hiding the food in his pockets. And Zach is going through that. That was a great scene. So he's doing really good for a little actor. So yeah, that was really sad. So it took a lot. So Zach really took over from there, and Fatima's going to fix him something to eat. So that was just a sad moment, but they see what they're dealing with now. Danni creeps in the house. Now, I'm like, okay, Danni, she had her great night. She's coming in. Preston wakes up. Of course, now he's off his high. He said he's never going to do that again. And I'm like, Danni, you gave him the stuff, and she really is not having any type of consideration or empathy for him and how this really affected him, because she smokes all the time. It don't affect her. She thinks something wrong with him, like, you just weak if you can't handle that little bit of weed. Well, it may affect people differently, and that affected him in a different way. I don't think she should have made light or a joke of it. I think she should have been more considerate and "Are you okay?" and a little more concerned about his health and well-being and how he felt. And then not only that, she had to lie, of course, for the rose and said it was just some street vendor she got the rose from. She explained the date and how her and Sabrina were there to basically just, babysit Andi. And so he's like, okay. But I mean, I'm already, you wanted to take the steps in making this relationship work. Now, after one date with a coworker, now think about this. Why has Danni not met this guy before? Put in the comments what you think about it. They work together at the airport. Is this the first time she ever met this guy? She act like she never saw him at the airport before. I don't know if she trusts him because he works at the airport. And now after one date, she's in La La Land and treating her man who she claimed throughout the whole date. And yeah, this basically almost turned into like a date for Sabrina and Danni. I mean, let's be honest, because the three of them was having a good time with these guys. So it's like, okay, you went out one time with this guy on the pretense of being a chaperone. And, now it's like you already lying to your man. You showing him lack of affection. I mean, ain't nobody asked you to screw all night long, Danni. Like, you didn't want any from him? Like, really? You don't like him like that? That you couldn't take a half hour or whatever to have a good time and please your man? Like, that was totally, you already cutting him off after this one date with a guy. Like, come on. Put in the comments, did you think that was crazy? And then, I'm going to take a shower and get ready for work the next morning. And then basically that's that. Then when she in the bathroom and he goes in there because he has to use it, and she's smiling, evidently he texting her, this guy, and she's smiling at the text. Preston thinking it's the girls, but no, it's this guy. And now she all in la la land with him. Totally dissing your man. Nothing. He goes to sleep. No affection. No nothing. Okay, so that really disturbed me, because Andi, he was right when Preston had the conversation. You back to the same old Danni, and you treating Preston like crap again. Don't be bothered. Don't make up your mind to commit only to go back to the same crap you about to do it to him again. Come on. He could have went back with this girl in. So I'm like, you my girl and everything, because you the real one, you honest, you give straight up advice to the girls, but then you go back to the same stupid stuff. So you really starting to annoy me with that, Danni. Like, come on, let's get real. That's messed up. So now the next day, well, not the next day, that night, Karen, she's at the store still, and I guess she started feeling bad now. Fatima's whipping up some dinner for her and Zach. I guess she had some for the baby too, but he's tired, so she said she'll feed him in the morning. Zach said he'll feed her in the morning, but she goes to the door while Zach is upstairs, I guess, preparing the baby for bed. There's a knock, and it's Karen. And Karen's at the store. She done got this little car seat, well, one of the ones, for the bigger boys. She gets that, and she had a bag of some other things, and she apologized. And this was the conversation that I had been waiting for. I'm waiting for Karen to, I don't want to keep being pissed off with Karen, getting frustrated with her, basically wanting her off the show because she's just like getting on my last nerves. And this is the Karen that I love and appreciate from the beginning. Yeah, she put on, this was a real adult moment between her and Fatima. She apologized and let her know that, I'm not mad at you. It's just all of this. And she got it. Like a man I've been with, that I've loved for so long, that we've had a lot of problems. And when he turns his life around, gets money, gets a home, he has a new woman, and now I'm thrown out by the wayside and pregnant with his child, or possibly. This is a lot to take on. We get that, Karen. It's just the way you've been constantly going on with this situation, being ugly, not having all your facts straight, not really knowing if it's Zach's. We've been going through a whirlwind of emotions with you, and this is what we want to see. So finally, kudos to Karen for putting her big girl panties on and apologizing to Fatima on her actions, explaining. And this is something, that basically a conversation that they had before. Like, she mentioned that before, that it was really all of that and not really her personally. And Fatima told her too, when they had that counseling session with Karen's mom, remember, that I would never hurt your child. Me and Zach have a relationship now, you're in the past, but I would always treat your child with love and respect, care. I would not do that to him. So I said this to you, you should have believed me then. And I meant that as a woman. She saw what he's doing for this random chick that he met at a strip club, and they see how, tender she's handling him and how they're caring for him. So of course, a woman that he's been in a 3-year relationship with, I'm going to treat your child just as well. If I'm doing it for this one, of course I'm going to do it for yours. So it only made sense. And I think that's when the button clicked and Karen realized, and she said, Zach went through the same thing. And Fatima said, I know. So she get that there's probably a lot on him. She probably feels really bad. And it was then, she left. Zach came down and, asked her who that was. She said it was Karen. She bought some things for the baby. And he was like, wow, that was nice of her. And she said, yeah, it was. So, she had made dinner, so they got ready to eat. So very significant moment in that episode. And I'm happy it happened. Now, there's a whole lot of things not to spend too much time on. Basic stuff. Sabrina came by. First, before Sabrina, the next day, Sabrina comes by and explains the situation about Bio and revoking the money and now the bail. And so now you're like, you gonna have to get with this man and do something, give him some or whatever for this $1,000,000, or you gonna wind up, going to jail. She's like, no, I ain't worried about none of that. They know Bio's a homophobe. She says like a racist who said they ain't racist, but they are. And they was like, see, I told you. And, basically now they got to figure out the situation with the money before it gets revoked and try to devise a plan. So they're getting ready to go over to Andi's to discuss with her so they can find out what they can do legally with that situation. But to be continued for next week, they'll realize they don't have to worry about that. Let me see. Yeah. So then, the next morning, Karen comes by and talks to Andi while she's having a morning workout before work. Karen, before she goes to the check on the shop, about the situation with Fatima and Zach and how she saw them at the store. First, Andi shared that she had a great date, that she went on a bus, which Karen could not believe how that went. But yeah, she went on a bus and, the date was really great. So she was happy for him. And she said that, him and his friends were just like the girls. So that was true. It did remind me of that. Too good to be true, to be continued on that one because I'm still not trusting it. And she tells her the situation with Zach and how they met him at the store. And she bought some things to the house, basically to make peace because she acted a little crazy at the store. And she said, we had a conversation. She said, a real conversation. And she was like, yeah, we actually talked. And Andi said, that's good. And she said, yeah, it is. And then she said, but I ripped up the check. So, she talked about the situation with the shop. And Andi said, I'm there for you. I'll help you financially with the check. So I'm glad she don't have to bother Zach with that. As far as the money, just let them be at peace. I think Karen is now in a better headspace. She says she's tired. She just wants to focus now on her baby. She showed her little baby bump. Now, this is the crazy thing. She talking about, well, you're going to have to put up with my emotions for 7 months and all this craziness. And Andi's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, in my mind, everything else went blank. Because I'm like, 7 months? You only 2 months? You mean to tell me when you only found out you was pregnant? You was a few weeks when she found out, right? It's been so long, and you telling me you only 2 months? Girl, 8 weeks. We've been waiting damn near 2 years for this pregnancy. And I guess in TV time, it's only been a month. Because you only 2 months. I got to put up with this for 7 months. This is crazy. This is crazy. So I digress on that. I just thought that was insane. So yeah, she talked about that and they experienced. So she got ready for work. Boom, that was over. Then we get to okay, yeah, we got into Sabrina going by Maurice's and them to talk about the situation. They got to go to Andi's to resolve that. Andi and Fatima are at the office and she talked to her about the date, which was a bus ride. And Fatima like, I know when I met Zach, he was on a bike, but oh no, I'm not for that. Well, if you met a man on a bike, you gonna talk to her about a bus ride and you want to get all bougie. It wasn't like that, Fatima. We know you like the finer things, but based on how your man was living before you got with him, you cannot be turning your nose up at Andi's date when it wasn't even like that. Because let's not forget how Zach was rolling when you got with him, and that was okay. Okay, girl, so we ain't gonna go there. But she had a nice date, and she knew about the situation with Karen and how that conversation went good. So I know Andi is happy not to be in the middle of that drama, knowing that maybe both of her girls now on a peaceful mission. Okay, so yeah. So then we have what was next? Yeah, Zach was Fatima before she got to the office, she was dealing with the baby. when he was asleep and stuff. So Zach, was still trying to take care of the child. And he had a conversation with Fatima about the baby hiding food. And that was a good scene too with the little brother. That was some good acting because children tend to and it's good. It's something that he's doing that at a young age because usually the children a little bit older, they would hide food not knowing when they're gonna eat again. So it was so sad seeing that and Zach trying to tell him, which was a really emotional scene for me. You don't have to do that. You got all the food that you need, baby. Take it out your pockets. Just let me know when you're hungry. That was sad. So they, he dealt with that and he was explaining to Fatima the situation when she called because the guy still wasn't in the attorney. They got to meet, but they preparing to go over to the office to meet with this guy to figure out the whole custody situation because they know it's going to be hell to pay when Heather finds out that they took the baby. On top of that, they got to get him treated. They got to take him to a doctor and get him checked out because there's a lot going on with this situation. And really, Heather just needs to chill because it's looking bad on her part because she got too many witnesses against her, and it's really bad. So she shouldn't even try to make any waves because it's not good in her favor. So when we get to the end, Danni is getting ready to get ready for work. Now here we go again. The mistreatment and just treating Preston any old kind of way. Because she gets up now, she leaving 2 hours early before her time. I'm like, girl, really? She wants to spend time with this guy. She wants to spend time with this guy and, she's like a teenager all over again. Preston, he got to basically beg for a kiss. You're not paying him any mind. I'm going to beat traffic, but he knows your routine. He knows something is different. And Preston is going to roll up on that job soon and see her with this guy. I mean, and it's going to be, I don't know how Preston going to be, if he just going to walk from it or if there's going to be a scene. But here we go again with the mistreatment of him, all because of who? I mean, Preston done been through enough with Danni. And if he sees her or finds out about this guy or she starts going out and getting involved, that's the end of Danni and Preston. I wouldn't give her the time of day, especially if she finds out that this guy's not really what she think, even though he works at the job. He's not the great guy that you think he is, or this guy that Danni's dating, or all three of them. I don't know if they really are who they say they are. They gave a good act. Everything seems to be legit. That night, the story about Coach and all this was all well and good. But we know how sisters go. And there's always something. And Gary may be behind this mess because he knows the guy with the app. So, and I don't put nothing past Gary. So she needs to chill because she's going to wind up really messing up with Preston. And if I was hit Preston, I'd be done with her. If that's the route she's going to go, I'd be done with Danni. I'm sorry, I'd be done. So, yeah, she gives him some peck. She leaves. At this point, Preston needs to just find his own place. Really, because Danni is pissing me off. So, what do you think? Put in the comments on that situation. Do you think Preston just needs to be done with her? You think she's about to be busted soon with them? How do you think this whole situation gonna go? And do you trust these guys that Andi's date and the guy at the airport that likes Danni? What do you think? So no surprise to us. You know that Zach is on his way out to meet Fatima at the office, and who shows up? Heather with the cops. There he go. He got my baby. And I'm looking like, that's not bothering me. Because the case they have against Heather, first of all, it wasn't kidnapping. I came to see my son, and I got him out of a bad situation. And based on the paternity test, he's my son. The neighbor already hears what's going on in the apartment. You don't have a leg to stand on. Any judge knows your lifestyle, know all the men, hear from the witnesses with all the men in and out your apartment, the bruises on the baby, doctor's reports, all of that is not looking good, boo-boo. So I'm really not, I'm not worried about you at all. Okay, Heather? So be quiet. So, okay, that's it. Put in the comments what you thought about this week's episode. Let's talk about it. We know what's about to go down next week with this whole situation. I'm sure it's going to be more with Danni and Preston. We got to see what's going on, because I think we're going to hear from our boy, what's his name? The Pain at the office, Gary friend. Lord, why can't I think of the guy's name now? Lord, I'm drawing a complete blank. But old girl is supposed to be coming back, and he trying to get her to sign some prenup or whatever from what I've seen on the previews. And then, of course, you know, Danni probably going to be at the airport meeting up with this guy in the situation with Zach and Heather with the cops. So stay tuned, family. It's probably going to be a good one. Very interesting. So I look forward to the comments. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Until next week, kings and queens, stay blessed, be authentically you, and live the life you deserve.